Welcome to the FL Community Podcast, created for the community by the community, where we discuss living with follicular lymphoma with a particular focus on thriving beyond diagnosis both physically and mentally. The following podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. Please speak with your doctor before making any health decisions. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 11 of the FL Community Podcast. I'm delighted to introduce my co-host, Paul, and our producer, Nicola, and we have a very special guest today, and I'll pass you over to Paul with the introduction.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you. So yes, today in this episode, we're going to be talking about the impact of FL, not just on the patient, but also on their carers and loved ones, those who go through the anxiety that cancer brings without being the one with the actual diagnosis. So today we're joined by the fabulous Sally Hurman. Hi, Sally. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello. Welcome. The voice behind Getting Stuff Done in Heels. Sally is a writer, a content creator, and above all, a carer. Her husband, Gav, is living with follicular lymphoma. And through her blog and her Instagram, she's been honestly sharing what it's really like to support someone you love going through a long-term cancer diagnosis. And we're so grateful to have her here today to share her perspective. Sally, welcome to the FL Community Podcast. I guess we'd always start with our guests to understand a little bit about initial diagnosis stories. And yours is a very unique perspective as a loved one and a carer of a patient with FL. So if you'd be happy to let us know what happens to you and Gav.
Yeah, sure. So it was 2014, and he had a really, really stressful job, and all the symptoms he had, we both put down to stress. So he was really, really tired. He had a really sore tummy. Every night he'd come home under his belt, and every night I'd go, "How's your tummy? How's your tummy?" It became like, "How's your tummy?" Always. He was super tired. Sleep didn't actually make him any better. And we just thought, we've got young children, we're busy, he's running his own business, he's bound to be tired. His dad had colon cancer, so he was being checked by an oncologist for that. So we're like, let's just get everything checked out because, family history. He had regular colonoscopies anyway, but let's just pop another one in and see. And it was just before Christmas in 2014. So he went along, he had the colonoscopy, and then I was working that evening and he was going for the results. So at this point, never go for results on your own.
Good advice.
It's bad. It's like, go and get your results and we can crack on with Christmas. Anyway, he came back and he came back in tears. I was pacing the room. I'd finished work and I was pacing the room like, he's really late. Anyway, he came back, he knocked on the door. It's so dark and he couldn't find a key, and he knocked on the door and he just said, "It's cancer cell." And it was awful. It was freezing cold, pitch black. The kids, the youngest was 9, I think, and they were mucking around in the house, and we were just holding on to each other on the front door mat. It felt like there was no safe place apart from the front door mat. The whole world fell away. It was just the most awful, because also what cancer, I don't know. He wrote something on a piece of paper. He wrote it on a Post-it note, and he unscrewed it and he went, "Lymphoma." Well, what the hell's that? So we phoned. He said, They said that we could go back. So I rang my mum. I said, "Can you just come straight round? We're going to tell the kids we're going out for Christmas drink. We're straight in the car back to the hospital." So we went back to the hospital. I had a Mini, and it was all huffed up, and the air conditioning wasn't working properly. So we were like driving along at this tiny scene, like trying to get back to the hospital. It was awful. Anyway, we went back, and that's when his oncologist, the guy that did the colonoscopy, said, "We think it's a lymphoma." I'm like, "Well, how many can there be?" A lymphoma. And he said, because of his lymph nodes in his tummy, he said, we don't think that this is normal. So you need to have more tests. I cannot tell you anything more than that now. And I went, "What's lymphoma?" He said, "It's blood cancer." So, but he had a clear blood test. He has clear blood tests, recently. So that doesn't make any difference in this case. A clear blood doesn't mean you don't have blood cancer. And so that started the ball rolling, and the big sort of room. into diagnosis.
Those kind of details that you're remembering is just taking me back. I don't know about you two, but you
Me
remember
too.
it, everything, you know,
I
the fog
do.
on the window, it's so ingrained in
Oh,
memory, right?
Yeah.
you remember every single second, don't you? And
Yeah.
it gave me goosebumps as well. It took
Mm.
me right
Yeah.
back to that
Yeah,
moment, and yeah, it's a punch in the face, isn't it?
It is. And it's like the world stops and nothing, all them little things you were worrying about, it's
yeah.
just like this wave comes over you and it's just,
The
oh,
whole everything on his whole axis
yeah,
Yeah.
just goes up the other way, doesn't it?
yeah.
So he was then booked in. He had a CT scan, and he was also booked in for a PET scan. I can't remember why they were back to back like that.
Mm.
And he also had bone marrow biopsy. And the bone marrow biopsy came back with scant, but it was there. So
Yeah.
that's what staged him a 4. And the CT scan showed in his mesenteric area, I think it's called here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were like, oh, that's why you had tummy ache then, because your lymph nodes are so big. But they actually weren't that big. They were just a weird shape, and they weren't doing what they should be doing. So we wait through Christmas. Anyway, we had to wait through Christmas for the actual results, because I didn't realise that at the point, and you will all know this now, but the results for follicular lymphoma are really slow to come back, aren't they? It's like the slower the cancer, the slower the results, because they've got to grow on a petri dish, and they can't. They discount all the fast growing things, and then what's left is like, well, that's lymphoma then, because that's like the slowest one. And I wish they'd explained, you know, if you have an aggressive blood cancer, your feet won't touch the ground. You'll be straight. Because wrapped up in that is, when I was, I don't know, 20, my uncle was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, and he died I mean, things have changed massively now, but so what happened then probably wouldn't happen now, although it could. But he died 10 days after diagnosis.
Wow.
So I head in sand at that point, buried my head. This is terrifying. A liquid cancer. How do you know? So this was all sort of running as this sort of back commentary in my head. And when the results, he said, well, it could be 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, it could be dead by then. Because that's all.
That's your history of what you knew.
That's all I knew, and I knew to be frightened.
Yeah.
If only I knew then what I know now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. And I think we've all said that, haven't we?
Yeah.
That's why the community's here, isn't it? To help people that are newly diagnosed in a panic, just trying to find someone to talk to. They can hopefully find Nikki's group and go, oh, okay, I can breathe a little bit during this process.
Because what you want is someone in that boat with you, isn't it? What you is someone going, oh, well, I think my aunt's friend died of that. That was like the most unhelpful thing anyone can ever say.
No, exactly. Oof. Okay.
Wow. And it sounds very similar to my own, actually. I was the same. My blood test was fine. And it took months before we found out it was follicular. And they said was, oh, it's definitely a lymphoma, but we don't know what type. And then I also did the CT, the PET, the bone marrow, which confirmed stage 4. And then it wasn't until I had a whole lymph node dissected from my neck that they found out it was follicular. Is that similar with Gab? Did he have a lymph node removed?
Yeah, he had. I call it north, south, east, west. He had 4 little incisions, and they took part or all of 4 in this area in his tummy. So that plus the bone marrow, and plus the 2.5 weeks, well, probably 3 weeks, because it was over Christmas and everyone was on holiday. We walked into the doctor's office on the 2nd of January, and he's retired now, thank goodness, but his delivery of diagnosis, which is why I'm so passionate about everything now, was horrific.
Yeah.
Oh, Gav, you've got blood cancer. It's called follicular lymphoma. I can't cure you. It's incurable. And Gav just said, how long have I got? He said, 5 to 8 years on a good wind.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
I know.
they said that to me too. Yeah. Yeah.
It's awful.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Who are these people?
I mean, mine wasn't great. Mine was, the doctor was meant to call me on the Friday and hadn't, and I called at 7 and he was running late, and he said, oh yeah, sorry, let me check your details. I hadn't checked it. And then was like, oh yeah, it's cancer, it's lymphoma, follicular lymphoma. And then I was just left on my own for the whole weekend.
I got Dr. Google probably.
Exactly. So yeah, we need to
Yeah.
improve these diagnosis stories somehow by getting it out to
Yeah.
clinicians about how to do this better, because it's so damaging. It can be.
Exactly. And those doctors need to direct those patients directly to those resources immediately. So they straight away, they know what to expect.
For us, in the cancer community, or pre-being in the cancer community, you hear incurable, you hear terminal, and that so needs to be explained.
Yeah,
it does.
The difference between those two words and how that can actually affect massively your mental health when you leave that doctor's office. Because it took me a few days to work out on our own. We're all terminal, right?
Yes.
But the way that the diagnosis was given of it's incurable directed our brains to going, well, it's terminal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
No, as opposed to incurable but very treatable, which should be the immediate follow-up.
Immediately, I can't cure you, but we can treat this, and it may not even affect your life expectancy. Would have been that would have set a whole different path instead of the years of angst.
And the stress that comes with that, and what that does to your health as well, it's got to be considered. It's
It can't be a nice job telling people the news, but it's just the way I think they're so clinical, aren't they? They lose sort of track of that's someone's life and
so routine
their emotions. Yeah.
And I get they can't sugarcoat stuff. I do understand.
Yeah.
But I think in this particularly follicular lymphoma, you don't need to make it sound like you're about to drop dead either.
No. Yeah, definitely not. Because I mean, look at all us, and look at Gav, we're living our lives, and looking at us, you wouldn't even know that we've got stage 4 cancer. It's mind blowing.
I mean, that's the diagnosis of a stage 4 follicular lymphoma, incurable. I feel like that sort of gets buttoned up with lots of other stage 4 incurable diagnoses, which are far more likely to have a bad outcome quicker.
The solid cancers.
So I feel like they just need to go, everything you know about cancer, turn it on its head. Let's start from scratch. We're going to teach you about yours.
Yes, indeed. One of my doctors did say at the very early on, one of the better doctors did say, think of it, and maybe he was sugarcoating, but it really helped me. He said, think of it more like a long-term illness, like a diabetes. He said, it's not diabetes, but think of it in that way. That will help you going forward.
I first saw Nicola Mendelsohn when I was scrounging around the internet trying to find someone in the same boat who actually talked about it. And I didn't realise who she was. I didn't realise she was the lymphoma, but I said to Gav, it was a YouTube video. And I said to Gav, God, look at this woman. She's asking all the right questions. Of course she is. She understands it inside out. And I had sort of got this idea of it in my head, but as the partner of the person with the cancer, I can't tell him how to feel. All I can do is process it my way. And exactly, Paul, like you just said, I said to Gav, isn't it just a bit like asthma? You can't just puff on your thing when you're not having an attack. That will only work when you're in attack mode, same as a treatment. The rest of the time you sort of watch and wait for something to happen and you're vigilant. And when I saw this video with Nicholas, she had said the same. And I said to Gav, listen, she's saying what I said, because he says, oh, bloody hell, where is it? And she was making so much sense, and exactly what you just said. You have a manageable disease, which could be fatal if it's not managed correctly at the right time. And that, again, you're equipped with that when you leave the doctor's office. You're going to be walking away not in floods of tears and feeling you're going to feel, okay, there's a bit of solid ground here that we can work on.
And not traumatized, because how much trauma comes from those first couple of days and weeks. That, of course it is a trauma, regardless of how it's, sold to you, if you like. But again, if it's more accurate, our body is not going to be in that extreme fight trauma mode, exactly, which we'll remember the whole, forever.
Even as the partner, it's
yours. It's your trauma too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're all married. We know what it's like in that partnership. You feel like one sometimes. So it's, I know my husband was so distraught. He was more distraught than I was when we first found out, because I think I was just stunned, and I was like, hang on. And I was like comforting him, like, it's going to be okay. But then we swapped, and then it was me that had the breakdown. And we're very lucky,
When was that?
That was February 2014. Yeah, not long before Gav's diagnosis. Yeah. Did he start treatment, or did he go on watch and wait?
Oh, we call it watch and worry.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bit more to the story. So yeah, he started watch and worry, and the pains inevitably got worse.
Yeah.
You've got cancer in your tummy. Tummy ache is. Anyway, so in the end, our doctor said, well, let's start you on rituximab. I don't think you need bendamustine. I don't think you need R-CHOP. Let's go straight to the rituximab. And we were really lucky where we were in the hospital. At that point, it was we could have it as a monotherapy. We didn't have to have chemo. So he started on 2 years of that. And funnily enough, his tummy didn't actually improve. And in the years following, turns out he's got Crohn's.
Wow.
We think his lymphoma was discovered kind of by accident. It then took there's cancer there, you've got to sort that out, that's what the pain is. But no, actually underneath all of that, all along, was Crohn's. So
maybe that was the pain, or all of the pain, I mean, likely.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So it was, I do think it was all knitted up together, because obviously it's your immune system, isn't it, and your immune system is broken. And so I think it's all knitted together. But yeah, he did 2 years of rituximab, and he hasn't had, touch wood, any treatment since.
Wow. And that's how many years is that now?
I love that is
coming up. Well, it was January 2015. So
okay.
Yeah, gosh. And wouldn't you like to go back to that doctor who said, his prognosis and just
he's retired now, and he give him his due. He diagnosed Gav, he put him in remission, all of that. Thank you. But also he made me feel like I couldn't even speak. When your voice just gets choked, crying. Every time we went in, and he was so belittling. And after 2 years, I did, in my tiny, screwed up, choked up voice, ask for a second opinion. And we went to see a different doctor, and that was when everything changed. That was when he sort of gave us the freedom to go, you know what, I will see you again, maybe when you're a very old man.
Which is what you want to hear.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. And that's a really important message there. If you are even a small bit uncomfortable with your doctor, we need to this is a lifelong condition. So we're going to be, alongside them for a really long time. You need to find somebody who works really well with you. I had a similar situation where my initial hematologist, he was on the brink of retirement anyway, but his bedside manner wasn't very nice. And, he gave me a prognosis of 10 years. And that just stayed with me. And he then retired. Actually, while I was having treatment, he went on holiday, and my platelets dropped so dramatically, and there was no one there to help me. Even the receptionist couldn't even direct me to someone who could help me. So that's when I was on a clinical trial at the time, and the doctor on the clinical trial, who's not a people doctor, he's a researcher, he sat me down and he said, you're going to have this for the rest of your life. You need to find the perfect doctor for you. So I knew at the time that I was looking into sort of holistic, sort of complementary therapies. So I wanted to find a doctor who aligned with that. And we've got a charity here in Western Australia called Solaris Care, and they offer Reiki and meditation retreats and things like that for cancer patients. And it was founded by a hematologist called Dr. David Joski. And I knew that I wanted him to be my doctor. So I hunted him down, and I said, got him as my hematologist, but unfortunately he's since retired as well. So then I wanted to find the best possible hematologist for me in my area, and then I found my new one. So you've got to find who, someone who you can gel with, who you can talk to, is not going to scare you, and carry on and live the best life you can.
That's such a good point.
We've got the most amazing haematologist now, Dr. Stella. We absolutely adore her. It's a joy to go and see her. I've never once felt like I want to cry. Well, I have actually, when she passed Gav his latest scan results, and she said, "You read them." And I was kind of, I don't know which. She goes, "Just the bottom." And it was like, no cancer detected. And then that I cried.
Oh, I love that.
It makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The initial doctor, that it sounds like we all had, was not great in terms of our diagnosis, but then it sounds like we've been quite lucky to find, or we've actually sought out the right ones. And I had a great doctor at University College London, Macmillan Cancer Centre, and she was there in the first several years of my care, and she had a great clinical manner, but she was just very straightforward and didn't actually sugarcoat, but also didn't scare me. And was lovely. So that set me up really well, I think. And then I've since lived in the States and now in Spain. So, I'm getting used to seeing how different doctors manage this and their different bedside manners, and who I can trust and who I can push back against and get second opinions on. And we always say this, don't we? But we become experts, and you're an expert too now, Sally, after all these years. We have a lot of knowledge that maybe intimidates some of the doctors because we are living with this for so long,
I do think that compared with 10 years ago, and like it sounds like our doctors, our haematologists, were sort of older school and about to retire, so therefore they trained even longer ago. I feel like certainly ours, and it sounds like yours too, they're much more open to you coming in and going, well, what about this? And what about that? Actually, you're not just sitting back frightened anymore. You're actually having a discussion. You're a team. You're working together. You rely on each other. You trust each other, and they really listen. And that's what you do, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. How does Gav manage? Obviously, he's got Crohn's, and because it's a similar situation to my diagnosis, where I've just got diverticulitis, which is honestly caused me more problems than the cancer the last sort of 8 years. But every time my diverticulitis flares up, it's like, what is this? Is it diverticulitis or is it the cancer? And it's just that because it's all the same area, it's so hard to think. And my consultant's always saying, you'll know when it's the cancer. And I'm like, but how? How will I know? Because I've never had this before. And he's like, you'll know. And it's just every time I have a flare up, I'm like, is this it? Like, it's just horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I watch him. Funnily enough, he's had diverticulitis on his scans too.
Has he? Bless him.
So I watch him like a hawk. He's actually really proactive. He does alternative therapies too. He has what's it called when you have pin stuck in you?
Acupuncture.
Acupuncture.
Yeah, he goes for acupuncture. He sees a lady who is really big into alternative therapies, who has really, really helped him. But he also has, there's not only his haematologist, there's another oncologist who deals with his tummy, and she's really helped him too. So yeah, it's just, I feel like the way I explain follicular lymphoma to anyone who's never heard of it is it's cancer of your immune system. Your immune system's broken. And you have to build it up gradually, and things are going to break, and it's never going to be quite this. I don't know about you guys, but sounds like you're all similar. Like there's never quite a freedom.
Yeah.
Something wrong, and there's always something hurting, and you have to go, no, like, okay, that's diverticulitis, that's not cancer. But it's so hard to pull those things apart because they're all kind of autoimmune things, and it's really it's just never, it sort of never ends, and everyone's like, 11 years, that's amazing, you must get this too, that's fantastic, and you're like, it is, but it doesn't stop.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot, haven't we, that people, particularly those you've not seen for a long time, but then aware of your health, kind of, they'll be like, you're cured now, or you're
So good.
Exactly. And well, no, and then you kind of feel like, okay, well, I don't want to have to say it's incurable again, but it's still there, but things are good. Or you just lie and say, yes, everything's good. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm okay.
It's like, I can't.
As you decide in that moment, and also the energy it takes to tell someone.
Yeah.
And if you've got that energy, or if they've even got time to, it's really hard to make that decision. I feel like you don't need to owe it to anyone to say, yeah, I'm fine, that's great, or no, and here's the whole story. You've got to make that judgment each time, and that's tiring in itself.
It is, and that's become easier, I think, particularly as time goes on, for sure.
It does, absolutely.
So, Sally, you've worked with blood cancer charities, particularly DKMS, to raise awareness of stem cell donation. I don't know if you wanted to talk a bit about that at this stage.
Yeah. So the reason I picked DKMS was because of the age of the stem cell donation. It's a little bit more than it would be with Antignola, and I fell into that category. So, I became, while Gav was having his treatment on, treatment days in hospital, I became such a stem cell geek. I used to be I was frightened because of my uncle. I was frightened of the word stem cell transplant. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. It gave me the heebie-jeebies. And then I started thinking, what is this? What is this stem cell stuff? And I became such a complete geek. I'm obsessed with how amazing it is that a complete stranger who's not even related to you, walking the planet in Brazil or wherever, could be your genetic twin and could save your life. You could save theirs. And it's like actual magic, and not enough people know about it. But so I just started chatting naturally on my Instagram. So I thought, well, if it gave me the heebie-jeebies, or I didn't understand it, I'm my own litmus. Same for anyone watching, unless they've been through it. So I started talking about it. And then DKMS picked up and started like completing the loop and going, oh, hi, Sally. And we sort of got to know each other that way. And then I became an ambassador for them, and we were trying to raise awareness and money. And I decided, for a couple of reasons, that the more frightened I was of the challenge that they set me, the more money I would raise. Brilliant. But also when people said to me, I'll quickly run through super quick run through the challenges. But when they said to me, oh my God, you're so brave, I could never do that, I would say, there is nothing more terrifying than walking into a doctor's office for your scan results or to discuss your incurable cancer. Nothing is more terrifying than that. So all the things that I've done actually are fun. They're scary, but they're not that anxiety inducing that you don't even know how your legs are going to carry you into the room. So I did a 10-kilometer run, and that was the hardest one actually, because of all the training. Thought I was going to cough up a lung. Not to be I did a parachute jump. I abseiled down a Spinnaker tower. I did a bungee jump. I did a wing walk strapped to the outside of an aeroplane.
Oh my God!
I remember that.
And all of those things raised loads of money. I was nervous about being strapped to the outside of an aeroplane. Don't get me wrong. It's not like where your natural thought goes. I just put me in first class. Thanks very much. All of those things, thousands and thousands of pounds. Because I think people could really get on board with, oh my God, she's actually going to do that. Somebody's going to do that to raise awareness. And then underneath all that was like, yeah, don't worry, I wasn't anywhere near as scared as I was on the day he got diagnosed. Nothing. So it's almost like pushing myself as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's so powerful. Wow.
I need to find those videos now that I've not seen them yet. That sounds very exciting, inspiring. We'll post the link, I'm sure.
Oh, there, yeah. Gather them all together like Death Defying stunts. But I did feel like every year they just tried to like murder me. We throw her off this year.
Like, what can she do next?
Yes. But it was brilliant because in doing all that, and I love to chat. I did thousands of people signed up on the register, and I wish I'd kept track, because I know from my DMs people go, when I signed up all those years ago because of you swabbing your mouth, I'm a match, or my son's a match, or my daughter's a match. And we found definitely more than 20. Might even be 50. It blows my mind. And every time I get a DM like that, I call it a code red. I'm goosebumps from here. I drop whatever I'm doing and I'm crying. Oh my God, this is amazing. You've got the mastery of life, and so you're patient.
Oh my God, you're making me really, I don't know enough about stem cell. You're making me really excited, Sally, about understanding more about it, because it sounds like a whole other world that I've not thought about much.
Blows my mind. I'm a complete geek. That's a whole other podcast.
Okay, yeah, noted. Well, that's something for us to go to in another day, I think, surely, because I feel very ignorant about a lot of that stuff beyond the basics. But In terms of, we're focusing on you as well as you know, apart from Gav, as a carer and a loved one of someone with FL. How you described the impact of the diagnosis, and you said you're watching him like a hawk, and it feels very much part of your, I don't know if it's daily existence, but certainly present existence. How do you cope with your own mental health and strain psychologically with having, you know, you're one of the closest people in your life living with FL?
It's a weird thing because generally I'm a really rushy, impatient person, but I think it's taught me like patience and daily appreciation, if you like. So when someone says to me, "I'll book a holiday, we booked it for 2028," I'm like, how have you done? How have you got enough confidence to do that? We're just booked something like 6 months in advance and still panic, even now.
Right.
So I feel envious of somebody that could be so confident with their health that they'd book a holiday for 2 years' time. I just think, wow, that's good on you. So we don't have that. So I've learned sort of a patience and a daily, this is what we're doing today, not looking like so far ahead.
Yes.
Because you all feel this, I know the same. When you're diagnosed, you immediately jump to worst case scenario. Gav's stopped like yours will have done with a big brick wall, and I was over that going, well, God, how am I going to do this on my own? So we came at it from like two different places, and I had to teach myself how to sleep at night without worrying about it, because you know 4 a.m. you is going here's another worry, here's a completely unfounded worry, but I'm going to make you worry about it anyway. So I had to sort of taught myself to not let those thoughts in. I watch him like a hawk, I panic, but I always say, and I don't expect that you three would, maybe we're on different sides of the same fence, but I always say we were diagnosed with cancer. We have got a cancer diagnosis. I know that Gav probably wouldn't see it like that. He said, well, actually it's me. But I just feel like it's me too.
It's like having a baby in a way. It's very different, but it's your baby. It's both of yours. This is both of your hands.
Daily experience. And in the early days, even probably for even over a year, I would like, we'd both be crying when no one was looking and then walking down the stairs with a big but it was like a shotgun. First thing, wake you up, cancer. Last thing at night, and you wake up, don't you? And that roll of heat goes over you.
It's real.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like bang, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gone. And I did always say that, you know, in the early days, the early couple of years, I felt like it was this massive concrete suitcase we were dragging around with us everywhere, and everyone could see it, right? Surely you can see this thing we've got with us. This is cancer all over it. And we'd just drag it around everywhere. But I think now it's probably there, but it's a little clutch bag and you probably don't notice it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's quieter, it's lighter, but it is never going away. And you just have room for it. Go, got my bag? Yeah, I've got my bag. Don't worry, it's always with me.
And with Gav being diagnosed back in 2014, as I was as well, I just remember there just wasn't the resources out there that there are today. Is there anything in particular that you wish that you had back then as a resource that is available today, or may not be, or is there something?
I mean, because the internet was clunkier then, and I was part of a Macmillan follicular, right down a deep rabbit hole, I tell you, and it was so clunky. And then you would talk to these faceless people that were patients, and in the end, there was me and this lady. And we decided to come out from under cover of this clunky Macmillan. It's probably not like that now. It's probably much better. But we decided to swap phone numbers so we could WhatsApp each other. And it was terrifying because I actually didn't know whether it was her or her husband. And she didn't, because there was, we couldn't, it wasn't as anyway, her name was Sunny and she lives in India. Her husband was diagnosed the same as Gav, and he's still doing really well, and we still chat occasionally. So there's this lady in Mumbai who I gelled with immediately, and it was amazing because our lives are so different. And we were chatting, oh, look at your cushions in the background, let me see your house. It was brilliant. So I just wish that all the platforms, that even this, able to do a chat like this with someone, it's so much better now. Once you are in your safe boat, and Google is not your safe boat, the charities are your safe boat. They can point you in the direction. Searching the hashtag on Instagram and finding you all, and it's so much easier to find your tribe of safe people that, you know, half the people in the follicular lymphoma group in the Macmillan thing were quiet, and I'm like, they're either dead or getting on with their lives.
Yeah.
Quiet because you're all dead. Hello.
Yes. Is this thing on?
Yeah. No, I have the exact same answer as you. That connection of meeting someone else with the same diagnosis was huge. And I went 2 years without knowing one other single person with FL. And my mental health just went downhill. And I just knew within me that that's what I needed. I just needed that connection because I felt so alone, so lonely. And I've got such a supportive family, and I wasn't alone, but you just feel it without that connection. So I agree. It's so important.
Where are they all? Where are all these people? Because, you know, if it was cancer, there's massive breast cancer community. You know, so it's easy to find. It's quite niche, follicular lymphoma.
Yes, it is quite niche.
But Nikki's done such an incredible job over the last 10 years of bringing this kind of disparate community together. Finally, I mean, there are so many more, I guess, out there that we need to find, but I mean, it's a huge community for this relatively rare, lymphoma.
Because that's how I came across you, Sally. I sort of Googled, I found your group, Nikki, and I found you on Instagram, Sally. And I think those early days, I mean, I used to send you DMs and ask you things, and I'd think, she's going to think I'm crazy asking this, but you would just come back and be like, you would totally get it. And
but when code red's probably like, oh my God, drop everything, we have a code red.
And I just think you helped me so much when I was going through that first couple of years, and just to know that there was somebody else out there that got it.
But to turn it on its head, you messaging me helped me too.
Amazing. It just shows the reciprocity of this, and listening to your story, Sally, it makes me think of my husband Carlos and your husband, and just how solid and inspiring they are to, because for me, I've said this before, I mean, I was single when I was diagnosed, and I was on my own for a couple of months, and then I met Carlos. It's a difficult time, and then I found the group, but he's been there every step of the way since that time, and I don't know how I would have done it without him, and it affects him just as much. And my worry is always, I don't want to leave him behind. I can't bear to think of him being kind of left or worrying about me. So I go to my appointments on my own. I'm like, you're fine. You get on with work. I'm fine. I don't need, if I need you, I'll call you. But they're the unsung heroes of our. Well, as you say, it's all of our cancer. It's all of our diagnosis, and that's the way to put it. It's not just our thing that we carry. It affects our families and our kids.
It does.
And I remember Craig saying to me, the first thing he thought about after my diagnosis was living without me, having to be a single dad. That was just the first thing he thought about.
Of course.
But my heart goes out to you, Paul, not having Carlos in those first few months, because I just remember the 2 a.m. terrors were awful. And if I didn't have my husband there to hold me during that time.
I had a rotation of friends who would come around and hold me in the night. Like it was literally like, okay, whose shift is it? But many of us are single when we're diagnosed, and it is one of the most lonely things you can go through, right? But it doesn't have to be, even if you're not in a relationship. And as we've said before, it doesn't preclude you from relationships in the future just because you have FL. You can also find your Mr. Perfect, Mrs. Perfect, whoever.
Absolutely.
Go to an appointment on his own, because he's got memory. He's got memory like a sieve, especially when one where you go deaf. Do you know what you go? Oh God! So we had, and this might be helpful for, and you've probably all done this, but it might be helpful for anyone listening. Is the moment you have your diagnosis, start a notebook.
Yeah.
I'll get it, but it's packed. And we had quite a thick one, and we're on our second one now. And it's so useful because you can write all your questions in, and then you almost rely on that. So if you're feeling like a bit rushed in the doctor's office, you can go, I've got some questions, and you've got them written down. You're not going to forget. And then, as the secretary of the meeting, I would write down all the answers immediately. As soon as we were in the car, I'll write everything down, even like dates of scans, like, you have to go back. When was your last CT scan? And I don't have to search through the drawer. And everything is in that book, how he reacted to what drugs, all of the
to Bible.
What symptoms and what we were going to say and what she said back. And that it's so interesting looking back, but also when you're going, well, no, they said that. No, they didn't. They said this. Actually, it's all written down, and you go, oh no, it's fine. That bit was clear. Don't worry. Yeah, their bloods that day were this. It's so helpful. And I've got we write in it less and less, which is testament to thank God. But it's there, and I take it with us on every appointment and always write everything down. There's no question then, because we can go, well, it gets hazy, doesn't it?
Yes, I learned that in the beginning, because you would always leave frustrated and like, oh, I should have asked this. And then I mean, Carlos would always come to the important, result appointments and discussion about treatment. And particularly in Spain, he would be translating. The doctor would speak English. My Spanish is not quite good enough. So it would be a three-way kind of, okay, what's he actually saying to you? And what have I just heard in my dodgy Spanish? And that doesn't quite match up. But then he would kind of get used to me getting out my notes app and reeling off loads of questions. And, don't worry about pissing off your doctor. Like, they're there to listen to you and to answer your questions.
One tiny scratchy little question going, that's a silly question. I can't answer it because by 2 a.m. it's a massively important question.
Exactly.
And no
absolutely.
And get that confidence to be in there and go, no, I'm going to ask everything, even if you think it's stupid. I just need to say it out loud so that I don't worry enough.
And when you start quoting research papers that they haven't yet heard of, then you're like, oh, something's shifted here. Now I'm just that annoying patient, but I'm okay to be that person.
Yeah. Actually, you made a really good point, Sally. I know a lot of us do write down our questions before our appointment, but I never thought to write down the answers. That's such a great idea. I always write the questions, and I've never thought.
Yeah.
Because you do think you won't, but you always forget, don't you? No, I can't remember what you said.
That's true.
Yeah. Andy sits. I mean, it's quite a running joke now because I've had the same consultant for 8 years, and so we've got to know each other, the team. And Andy's like the minute taker. He sits in just before I go into my appointments, we always sit down. He's like, right, what do you want to get out of this appointment? What questions do you want to ask? And I'm like, oh yeah, because when I'm in there, sometimes my mind just goes and it shuts down, and I go out and I say, I didn't take a word in of what was said. Like what, and he's in the car reading his notebook. Well, he said that, and I'm like, did it? And he's like, no, that's not what he meant. He said this, and I'm like, oh, because I was worrying then. And it's just so powerful to have those notes and just take that time to process it, not in the sort of scary consultant room, isn't it? Yeah.
There was one thing that I just feel like it's important to know if you're newly diagnosed with this long-term disease, is that the protocols and the medical advances in 5-10 years time will be maybe not even invented now. So the can will be kicked down the road, and you might think, well, I can't have that again because of XYZ, but that again might not be the gold standard in 5 years time, 10 years time. There will be another thing with MAB on the end that's a better MAB than Luximab or whatever. And so that's also a safety net. If you're thinking, well, I've got these protocols, but there'll be more. And
good point.
I feel like there's no good cancer to have, and it annoys me. Oh, you've got a good one. They haven't. But I feel like of all the shitty sticks, it's a slightly cleaner end because you've got time to think.
Yes.
Exactly that. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I had a chemo finishing last May, the BNR, bendamustine and rituximab, my first treatment, and I'm hopeful and expecting my next treatment, if I need one, likely I will, but hopefully not for a long time, that it won't be a chemo, that it will be something else, and I won't need to do that at this stage. Yeah, immunotherapy, but we've also got the
bispecifics.
Bispecific antibodies. That's what I was trying to.
Yes. Yeah.
bispecifics, stem cell. I mean, there's so many different options
CAR-T.
kind of coming. CAR-T, yeah.
Yeah. No, we're starting to get a bit a bit more luckier with the more and more treatment options. I'm looking down the barrel of my second line of treatment. Don't know when. I'm still on watch and wait. And I did ask my hematologist at our last appointment, what sort of treatment would I be looking at? And he didn't really know, which was interesting. He said, look, at the time, things are changing so rapidly at the moment.
Yeah.
So I was, I actually, and sounds strange, I don't know anybody else that had the same treatment as me. And I know a lot of people with follicular lymphoma.
Yes.
So I was on a clinical trial called HotMab. So I did have rituximab, but I also had radioactive iodine injected into me. So I was radioactive for 2 weeks and put under house arrest.
Exciting. That's quite a story.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a treatment that they never ended up using. And so it was only on clinical trial. I don't think it ever went to market. But yeah, I've never heard of anybody else that has also had it. But I'm also very grateful for it because it gave me 10 years of NED. It has started to come back. So my lumps started appearing again in, I think, April or May last year. So I'm actually quite lucky. I can monitor things because of the lumps. I do have them in my mesentery as well. I've got one like Nicola, and I think you did, Paul, the aorta.
Yeah.
No, mine was lower.
Oh, was it? Okay, so that's the biggest one at the moment, and that's the one they sort of want to keep an eye on. But I haven't had any more scans since May, but I do have quite a few on my neck and my groin area that I can feel. So
do you have like the tiredness or anything else?
yeah, I get a lot of fatigue, but I seem to manage that quite well with exercise and diet, and I'm very kind to myself.
Good.
Yes.
Which we all should be.
Yeah.
Even you, Sally.
And I'm on a maintenance therapy, which I was saying before we started recording, that it's given me that peace of mind that, I'm responding well to it, just rituximab, giving me a couple of years, hopefully, of not really thinking about it beyond going to those appointments every 2 months.
Are you having that a subcut, or are you having it on a drip?
Yeah, in ejection, which is brilliant. I'm so pleased that they covered it because
Do you have it
literally in my stomach.
Afterwards, do you get like a pouch of liquid and a big?
I do. It's there today. Like I had it 2 days ago. I was in the gym yesterday. I was like, oh, there's the pouch. Yeah. But it gradually gets absorbed.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember being really frightened when that happened. And the nurse said, no, it's completely normal. We've injected quite a lot of liquid in. And there's a big, like a big old pouch. And then it bruised it every time quite badly. But battle scars and all that jazz. But yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you remember. Yeah, I mean, the kind of cylinder like this. And you're like, how's that all going to go in there? But it does. And it doesn't hurt. And then I run home from the hospital and it kind of helps it to, Oh dear, what we go through, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
We want to speak about your fabulous Instagram and your world outside of FL, Sally. I'm a recent discoverer of your work, preparing for this podcast, but I followed you already.
Is this something that you started before Gav was diagnosed, or was it post-diagnosis?
So my jobs were I was a hairdresser and then a jewelry designer, and then I'm naturally super nosy and chatty, obviously. And so when people were showing me pictures of their dinner on Instagram, I'm like, I'm so here for this. I'm bad for dinner. So I joined Instagram. I had a private account. I barely posted. I followed people that knitted and liked cats. I didn't, and then I thought, I'll just be a public account. Someone followed me and I thought, you're an axe murderer. I deleted my whole account. Now, why would you? And then I missed taking photos of things. I really enjoyed just the daily prompts on some of these things, take a picture of the corner of your house, take a picture. So I did that. And then I remember going, I've got 65 followers and some of them chat back and they're really nice. And I remember friends going, you're not going to meet any of these people, are you? Like I was being groomed, like what we all tell our children to not do.
Yeah.
Amazing community. And an amazing community of other people who love interiors and fashion and a bit of blood cancer. And I realised, as it built and built and built, that people were going, well, can we can we send you a cushion? Can we send you a candle? I'm like, if you want. I was still working. Yeah, if you want. And then it sort of took over. There was many things. And I was like, I can't be taking photos of videos of these blooming candles and things all the time. And then it became a thing that, somebody would pay me to do it. And I'd be like, well, actually, yeah, because it takes so much time. And in the end, the balance shifted. And I suddenly, like Forrest Gump, stopped running, as in working in the salon. I loved my job. Loved being a hairdresser. And one of the days I just went in and went, I think I'm Herman I'm done. And because I'm creative and I'm doing all these things at home and people are paying me to do it, and I just adore it. So that I sort of fell backwards into it before it was even a thing, and I'm still doing it, still love it. But importantly, when I realized I had a platform and a voice and I could move troops, I could make you buy the candle or make you buy the thing. Actually, I could also engage you enough that you might want to get on the stem cell donor, or you might want to listen to the symptoms of blood cancer, because nobody really knows them apart from us. So I also take it really super serious that I need to say the things that are true, and I stay in line, and I think people trust me, and that's the most important thing about having an account, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's cushions and clothes or people, and I don't take that lightly.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And it's called Getting Stuff Done in Heels, which is very well known to many people, I think, in the community.
I was married in a pair of a decent Russell and Bromley wedge, and I'd rushed in from dropping at preschool, and I thought, oh God, the lawn. So I was running up and down with a fly-mo, and the bloke next door popped his head over. He goes, all right, getting stuff done in your heels.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Oh, so that's how the name came about. Oh, because I was wondering that. I think it's brilliant.
On in a Russell and Bromley wedge. It just stuck. If I did it now, I'd just have my own name. But in those days, we all had sort of handles, didn't we? So I just.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in and seeing kind of what you're kind of all about on there, Sally. It looks very inspiring, very fun, very beautiful.
I just want to mention, Sally, one of your recent posts, you were saying goodbye to your son at the airport. Oh my God, you got me so much.
Yeah.
I was crying. And because I recently just come back from England, and when I was coming home, I recognized the spot where you were filming him because while I was standing in line there, I actually witnessed a couple saying goodbye to their daughter. Look, she must have been 17, 18, and the emotion of them saying goodbye to her got me in the line. And I was saying to my husband, I just can't stop crying, this girl. And I remember seeing her on the other side when she was getting ready to board, and I just said, I just can't stop watching her because it was so emotional. And I mean, I have a daughter who's almost 17, and God, the idea of her going, I mean, I love it. I'd love her to go and travel and all of that. But I get it, like the two pull away, like it really got me.
Yeah.
It was a week ago today, and he's having a brilliant time, and now he's gone. I'm like, okay, onwards. But I mean, I would cry if I saw a bloke collect his dog at the airport. The airports are so emotional, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Emotionally charged, but he's our baby. He's the youngest one, and we were excited, but also, oh my God, he's only 5, possibly being traveling the world. So yeah, I felt a bit cringe posting it, but I just thought it's a place marker for me, actually. And if everyone else finds it cringe, I don't care, because it's my little place marker in my online diary. In fact, it landed so many people. I've been so overwhelmed. I can't reply to all the 500 people that have commented because, and it's everyone's story sharing. I did this, and it's just wonderful. Again, another whole community. It's just lovely. But I think I would need about 6 weeks to reply to everyone. So I just feel
well, you can say it here. This is what's if they cross-pollination. Everyone check out Sally's Instagram and your Substack as well. So it's Sally Hurman and Getting Stuff Done in Heels on Instagram, where you can find the Substack as well.
I dropped the heels bit because I figured there's less wedges around these days, more of a trainer. So just
getting stuff done in sensible shoes.
Yeah. Yes.
Flip flop. Yes. Okay. So let's move on to I think what's been happening in the community. Just a bit of an update, Nikki.
Yes. I did want to mention. since this is our carers episode, I thought I'd give a little plug to a webinar that I recently did with my husband. Well, it was about 6 months ago with through the patient story. So there were three couples on the webinar, and it's called Living Well Together with Follicular Lymphoma, and that's by the patient story. You can find that on YouTube, or I'm sure Paul will put that in our resource section. So check that out. And I just wanted to bring up the latest FLF webinar called Living with FL, Coping with the Down Days, which was hosted by the FLF Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Mitchell Smith. And they had a special guest, an oncology psychotherapist. Her name is Surabi Chaturvedi. And we had one of our valuable members from our community, Dr. Claire Hucker, who is a GP living with FL. And Nicola, we recently met Claire, didn't we, when we were in London?
We did in London in November. She's lovely, isn't she?
Absolutely delightful. I just really loved getting to know her. So highly encourage everyone to check that out. And yeah, I think I'll pass over to Nicola now, because we want to talk a lot more about the community and what's been happening within the community. And I think, Nicola, you've got a post to read out that has to do with a carer. So I think it'll be an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this member, she posted anonymous, but we have contacted her to get her consent to discuss this. So it's just in line with the carer subject. I'll get to a post. So I really don't know what to do. My oncologist wants me to do BNR, and I have been to start treatment 3 times and backed out all 3 times because instead of making me brave enough to do it, my husband keeps acting like he doesn't want me to, and is acting like the treatment is going to hurt me more than the cancer. I'm scheduled to start treatment tomorrow because it's infiltrated both my kidneys, and my oncologist says we are past rituximab alone. I'm at a loss. I don't feel like a warrior at all. I'm so scared. My husband is scared because I live on nutritional shakes because I can't eat well, and it's also infiltrated my thyroid now. He has got me so afraid to do treatment. I really don't know how to handle this. Would watch and wait still be okay with thyroid and kidney infiltration? So yeah, that was a post, and
so powerful.
It is
really heavy. Yeah.
It's kind of, you can see it from both sides, can't you? Like you feel for both of them, and just all the fear that they both must be feeling.
Absolutely. And look, both of their feelings are valid, like you said, and the husband's are certainly valid. But it really hit the heartstrings, like it just gets you, because we all know what it's like. And I did actually have a private discussion with her, and she was very open to us talking about this. She thinks it's really important. And just a small update is that she is starting her treatment very soon. So because a lot of the community members were very concerned for her and trying to encourage her that it was really important for her to start treatment. So
yeah, gosh, I mean, thank you for letting us share that, anonymous. It's really vital for us to hear these stories. I was kind of same reaction as you, Nikki. I was almost shouting at the computer going, I mean, oh my God, please just do treatment, or at least start to think about it. But I understood the husband's panic, the point of no return. But it seemed quite clear to me that she needed to get out of that impasse, really, and get some support from a professional.
Like in a situation, not starting the treatment for both her health and both their mental health would be worse than starting the treatment.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, which does touch on the idea of, as we were saying before, particularly if we've not had treatment yet, in your case, like Nicola, that how anxiety and health anxiety, OCD, we've talked about, both of us in the past, how that can actually be worse than the actual cancer for a lot of us, diverticulitis. And in this case, the panic and the fear getting in the way of potentially life-saving treatment is really serious. I would encourage people that have any similar kind of dilemmas, really. If you want to be anonymous on the Facebook group, I mean, of course, go to your doctors first if you can. But if you have a similar dilemma that is maybe quite interpersonal around family or loved ones, do put it on the Facebook group and do get some feedback. It might be that you already know what you need to do and you just need a bit of an encouragement, or you're completely lost and someone can point you in the right direction. But it does speak to the real difficulties of family and loved ones, and them usually having our best interests at heart, but then just being so terrified about losing us or us coming to harm.
You're falling, the group will catch you.
Exactly that. Thank you.
Absolutely. It will. And it's not just patients in there. It's carers and loved ones are all in there as well, and they all contribute. And we all know how they feel. They all know how we feel. So absolutely, I'm with you, Paul. I highly encourage anyone to put up a post anonymously if you don't feel comfortable posting with your name. Or I very rarely will see a post that doesn't have any comments on it. And it's usually a lot of comments.
It's scary to post anything online when you're feeling vulnerable. So to post anonymously would maybe give a bit of a shield to the vulnerability that someone might be feeling by posting, because it's really, really personal stuff. How frightened you are and the treatments, and if you're confused, whatever it is, or your husband, whatever, your wife, whatever. I feel like posting, the fact that you've got the option to post and not be yourself, just to put the question into the group while you're vulnerable, you will be soothed.
Yeah, and it is a private group. So I think a lot of people don't realise that when you do post, it doesn't appear on your news feed, doesn't appear in your friend's news feed, only if they're a member of the community, that it might. So I think it's important to note that it is a private community. So what you do post is kept within the community.
That's right. And we moderators will see who you are. You won't be anonymous to us, but our job is to maintain that confidentiality, so you can trust that we won't, reveal who you are.
Say, Paul just posted. So no one see that apart from
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you to the member who gave us permission for that, because that was really helpful, really sobering, but a great result by the sounds of it, Nikki, from your conversations with her. She's looking at treatment.
Yeah, and she was really lovely to talk to. We had a bit of a conversation, and she did say how the community has really helped her immensely, and she feels extremely supported. So that was really nice to hear. And I believe she said she was starting treatment, I think, next week. So I said we'll all be thinking of her as she starts treatment. Yeah,
we are.
a really positive thing. A really positive thing, isn't it? Because pre-treatment, you kind of can be in free fall. Yeah, you get the parachute, and things they do feel better. They do feel better once you've got that plan.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know about parachutes, by the sounds of it, sailing.
Yes.
And wing walking, and what else? Bungees, and Sorry, I'm trying to make it into a lighter note to end the session on today.
I can definitely recommend a parachute jump.
Can you?
Really?
Oh, I almost did one and then bottled it.
Oh no, it's highly unlikely. Hardly anyone dies doing it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and I've got cancer, so I should just do it.
Maybe we should all do it. Yeah.
Stream it live from different countries.
The pressure is
on. You can do the parachute, Paul. I'll do the ice bath.
Wait, that doesn't sound like a fair.
I'd rather do the parachute than the ice bath any day.
I go cold water swimming. So
I don't get the ice bath thing. I've never wanted to do that, but
right.
I might do that if someone challenges me.
Okay. Ideas for future episodes and for future fundraising.
Yeah, maybe.
We better wrap up, I think, for today. It's been so lovely to speak to you, Sally, and to hear about your story and Gav's story and this intertwined kind of carer, loved ones side of things, which, we always talk about, but it doesn't always get the attention that it deserves because it's always about us. So thank you. I'm sure you're going to have lots of FL cross fans now from our community to yours that you don't already have.
Thank you.
And come on again if you want to in the future. We'll be very happy to have you.
I'd love
Yes.
to so much.
Yeah. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in, and please like, comment and subscribe on YouTube if you can, please. And you can also subscribe on Spotify and Apple.
The email is the flcommunitypodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
I'll put that on the screen anyway, or in the notes. But yes, let's sign off. Thank you again, Sally.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sally.
Thank you for having me. You're all lovely and wonderful, and thank you.
And remember, here at the FL Community Podcast, our motto is
from surviving to thriving.
One story at a time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sally. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.